What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Elite Zone. I'm Max Bergstrom, and we've got a great episode for you today. We're going to be talking about why great agents lose deals before they even get on the first call. So, we've been talking about visibility a lot, and I have somebody very talented, very special, very knowledgeable about real estate marketing on the show today. Please welcome Blake Ferretti. She is a marketing specialist, and you're pretty much talking with agents like all day long, right?
Yes, I am. So exciting times.
Yeah, for sure. How are you today? Everything good? You got your goals lined up for the year? Talking to agents?
Absolutely. 2026 is going to be a great year. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes, what happens, and what people conquer. So good
Yeah,
things to
yeah.
happen.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me. And we're focusing on this visibility thing, right? Because
Mhm.
building your organic brand and business is really, really important. And with AI, it's recommending trusted brands. So, you know, I hear from agents who are really good at their jobs, they're experienced, they know their market, they close deals when they get on the phone, but the inbound like leads aren't coming in, people aren't finding them, it's unpredictable, it's inconsistent. And it's not that there's like zero business out there and the market isn't collapsing, but it's like an erosion of inbound opportunity because people aren't ranking anymore. Is this kind of in line with some of the stuff that you hear when you're speaking to agents on consult calls and things?
Yes, 100%. A lot of times, well, first, let's start with we're in 2026,
Yep.
right? So the times have changed, things are transforming, AI is taking over. And I really think that is kind of like the front and center message right now is we are in a transformation, right? AI
Hmm.
isn't a trend. It is here. It is
Yep.
now. And really being able to help educate agents on what that means and then give that strategy behind it is really what's going to level up these agents that kind of feel this like I know what I need to do. Like, I'm a good agent. I've had successful business. The thing is, it has nothing to do with that. It really
Yep.
is truly kind of honing in on the industry has changed when it comes to how people find you, where people look, and let's be honest, I chat GPT, I Gemini all the time.
All
I'm
day
like, hey,
long.
I need this near me all the time. So, kind of understanding that that is how people are searching now. And
Yep.
in order for you to be that person that kind of gets chosen, there's a new strategy behind that.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, so and I 100% agree. Anytime, agents are like, "Hey, like I'm white glove, I don't do AI. I want people to know I'm a human." I think that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But AI is here, right? It's the train has left the station. It's already here, and in a few years, one of the biggest complaints is like, well, it doesn't necessarily sound like me, or I want to have more control, and so they push away from it. But in like 3 4 5 years, people probably won't be able to tell the difference between you and your AI communication because it's just going to get better and better. So
Yeah.
I always tell everybody that's trying to pretty much run any sort of business, but especially real estate agents, right? Like you have to learn how to leverage it. And
Mhm.
hey, like 90% plus of people start online, and I don't go to Google nearly as much as I used to. Just like you said, I go to Chat GPT. So, they're gonna shortlist a couple agents. They probably will only contact one, right?
Yep.
And then if you're not, up at the top of that list, or if AI doesn't know to, hey, recommend you because you're in this area, you're the dominant agent, then that decision is being made before you even get a chance to get on a sales call, right?
Exactly.
So how do agents like conquer this? How do they get on the right track? If I'm like, hey, what do I need to do? What would you tell me? Like, hey, here's the first thing, X, Y, and Z. Like, what would it be?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of one understanding like where are you now, right? And like in order for you to even understand where you need to scale, you kind of need to know where you're starting.
Totally.
So basically kind of figuring out like, what is my digital footprint now, right? Do I have my own website that I control the branding, I control the messaging, I'm able to tell people in my own words who I am, what I do, right? That's probably the first thing I'm going to look for to see if you have that. Next, I'm going to see, do you have a Google business profile? So when I am on Google, you're coming up as an option, right? In that little map pack. And then we actually have a free scan tool. You can go to agentelite.com and find our scan tool there. We have access to it on our, social media platforms as well. But go scan your business. All you have to do is basically put in your name, your business name, of course, and your address. And from there, just like all AI does, it pulls from all different sources. So it's not just pulling from Google. It's pulling from Yelp, City Search, the BBB, Facebook. Literally, there's over 60 plus directories that it pulls from. And that will then tell you, okay, there's like 3 different tiers that I kind of can fall in. I'm absolutely perfect and I have my information accurate, consistent across every single of those directories. That is not what we usually see. So it usually tier 1 is not what people are falling when they're first starting out doing this audit. From there, the next tier is like, kind of like that yellow side. Like, you're not bad, but we got some things to work on. So maybe
it does give insight, like, it's not just like here's what you need, here's what, like, it actually gives an accurate, like, if things are going well or if you're doing good, it'll show that, so you know what to, which parts to focus on. Awesome. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, that's great. And then of course, if it's nothing's, complete or you're missing so much information, it'll let you know, like, hey, you need some help and you need to work on this now. So that's where I would say to start, because in order to know where to scale, where to grow, you got to know what your foundation is. And then from there, like a lot of the clients that I work with, my team works with, we really sit down and then create that strategy plan and plan of action. So that way, once again, agents are good at working with their clients on buying and selling. They're good at doing the behind the scenes, negotiating, writing up those contracts, doing what they have to for their clients. So sometimes we understand that and we want to create a plan that is able for them to actually execute, right? Or if they're like, hey, I don't have time for this, do it for me. We say, perfect, this is what we're going to do, and kind of show them, hey, this is the actions we're taking for you. Here are the results so far. So that way we're always in communication too of what's going on.
Yeah. And then agents get that full transparency as well, right?
Exactly.
There's no secrets. You're saying, hey, here's the playbook. Here's what you need to do. Go ahead and do it. Or if you don't have time and you want, us to handle it, then that's available as well. And it seems, like, I know, like, the old world, Google rankings, keyword stuffing, having your website and just, content clusters, things like that, so you rank on Google. But the new world now, it's like the full ecosystem. It's it's your are you trusted? Are you consistent across all your platforms? Is your information accurate? Are you listed on Google, Apple Maps? Are you posting to social media? Are you adding new content to your website? Because the AI is so much faster now. And it can just like you said, it can, it can scan everything. So it's not just looking at where you're doing the best. It's also looking at, where you're not doing anything at all and being like, well, so I think that's really, really good. And, if your profiles, if I know a lot of agents move from brokerage to brokerage, and so I've helped agents with this, and that all their business listings come up. Like 2 of them say Keller Williams with 1 office location. Another one says Coldwell Banker with a different office location. And then there's like 2 more that have like a home address. You know what I mean? So like AI is looking at that like, well, where are they? I don't know.
Who are you?
Who are you? Exactly. So how important it is, like, keeping everything from all your online business listings to Facebook to your website, all of that information succinct. Is that really a driver in how AI will rank an agent?
Yes, absolutely. So we call it NAP, which stands for name, address, and phone number.
Mm,
So you always want minimum those three things consistent, because when AI is going and it's citing all of these directories, it's looking for, is there consistency between your name, address, phone number? And then of course it goes even further of like, do your hours match? Do you have
mm,
positive reviews? Who is your business? Maybe you are your own business. Maybe you're not with a brokerage. Maybe you are the broker. So it looks for all that information, and it's a lot. It's a lot to manage. And like I know that, my team knows that, and so we have a tool, local presence, and in that there's actually a section we call it duplicate suppression, meaning when you put in your information into our tool, it will actually scan all of those directories and
right.
it will tell you, hey, we see that you are, your name's Blake, you're with Agent Elite, your phone numbers, whatever it is.
Yep.
But it seems like you also have another profile that says, maybe Blake with, Blake Realty with a
Hmm.
different phone number. Is this Is this your profile?
Yep.
And if I don't fix that, I'm not going to get ranked. AI is not
Yeah.
going to know or rank me. So the tool will actually allow you to say, suppress that. That is me. And I want you to use my correct information going forward.
Ah.
Or you can hit, it's not a duplicate, meaning it's not me. So I see a lot of times agents have on their Google profiles or even on their websites, their
Yep.
address is their broker's address,
Right.
because maybe they normally work out of their home. I mean, obviously, real estate agents are self-employed, so
Yep.
sometimes they don't have another address other than their brokerage. And because of that, if you're in an office with 10 other agents and all 10 of those agents put their address as the
Yeah.
broker, all these
Yep.
directories are like, wait, hold on.
Same
Who is
suite
this
number and
you?
everything.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
exactly. So this is where you're able to say, hey, yes, I am Blake and I do work for, Agent Elite, but Jennifer at Agent Elite is not me, just because we have the same
Oh,
brokerage name.
cool. Okay.
So it eliminates a lot of the stress. But yes, it can negatively affect your ranking and for AI to even recommend you as a top result.
Yeah, because there's no trust there if there's
Yeah,
inconsistency. So then, okay,
exactly.
so do agents want to then list, like, let's say, I live in a certain neighborhood,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to scale in a different neighborhood and I want
Mhm.
AI to recommend me in that neighborhood. Do I need is there a way to add my like service address like you can do in Google, so it says, okay, Max is an agent, he lives here, but he works in this neighborhood, or like how do you do that?
Yeah. So in our local presence tool, it has all different categories. So when it comes to the address part, it'll be your business information, and you
Mhm.
can select basically if you have an address, or you can put in an address and say hide from listings, and then
Ah.
select I am service based, and you can put
Oh,
in
no, okay, so it's kinda
yeah.
like on Google, but it gets it everywhere.
Exactly. Exactly. So now it's pushing that your service base on all of these other directories. So that I would say is like the beginning part, right? So you're telling these directories, hey, I'm service based. Here are all the areas that I'm trying to target. Now,
Yep.
of course, that's the start of it. But if you're trying to kind of work yourself into a new area, or maybe you're moving states and you're in a whole new market, that's where then I would take it up a notch, and then I would probably start posting content to that specific area to now really push my name, so that way AI can kind of pick it up.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. That's great. Yeah, that seems like a absolute game changer of a tool. So thanks for sharing that. What I'm
Yeah, of
here,
course.
like the silent deal killers here, like what I'm hearing like from you and other experiences that I've had and seen is really what we've been talking about, right? The inconsistent local data. So your NAP doesn't match. It's confusing algorithms and humans. Your Google business profile, maybe you're not posting there at all, or maybe it's old photos. Maybe, you're not clear in what your services are. There's no engagement signals there. And then reviews without, any narrative. If there's just random praise, or, it's just great service with 4 stars, there's no substance there, all of these things. And then your listings, maybe you're only posting once, maybe you're posting once a month to social media, and you're not doing any blogging on your site. Like, all of that is interconnected, right? So when AI is looking at everything, it's not just looking at where you are, and is your name and address and phone number complete, but it also takes into account this whole entire ecosystem, right? So how does Agent Elite support not only, helping with the AI ranking, but doing like full 360? This is like your whole plan. What would that look like for an agent?
Yeah, so we obviously have more tools and services. So a lot of our clients, like, we create their websites, so that is something that will help them with making sure everything on that site is consistent and accurate for when AI is searching. We have tools like our local presence. I could rave about that tool all day long.
Right.
We have our design studio that allows you to create these awesome posts that are automatic templates that you get to literally just click, click, click. It creates probably 10 different social posts if you want. You can schedule them out. What we do is we really help agents come up with that we give them the products and tools. Then we help them come up with that strategy. So that way everything's either automatic or easy enough to where they don't feel overwhelmed, but they're allowing themselves to get to that next level and level up against their competitors, really. So I would definitely highlight how much also too, the experts that we have on our teams that know so much in the industry and that are able to then help our agents and clients. And even if you're not a client, if you wanted to see what we can do for you or how we can help, that's another great way to kind of figure out if you're in it's 2026 and you're like, I know I need to do something, I just don't know where to start. We have a team that can at least help you identify where you are now and where you can be.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I think that's really, really important. And when we talk about, the practical, immediate actions, what you guys always say is get the Visible Agent Guide, get the Visible Agent Guide, get the Visible Agent Guide. So what is the Visible Agent Guide? What does this do for real estate agents who are trying to crack the code of, being a dominant agent with AI and how the algorithms and how marketing is changing?
Yeah, so the Visible Agent Playbook, it's about 34 pages. So it has a lot of words. There are some graphics on it, so it breaks it up a little bit. But basically, it just breaks it down chapter by chapter, like little goals, and really understanding what visibility is. Like, what does that mean? How to navigate AI, what AI is doing, right? A lot of people think oh, AI is just choosing because I have the best website and it looks so pretty. Well, no, AI is actually citing sources. And so what that does is it goes out, cites all these sources, pulls all of this information that's out there on you, and then that's how it recommends. So it explains kind of the background of AI and how AI is playing a role into your business. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, figuring out where to start. So understanding where you are before you can even scale. So doing, that audit. And then from that audit, kind of really coming up with okay, this is where I'm at. And here are now the action steps I can take based off of where I'm at, right? Maybe you don't even have a Google profile. I would say, let's start there. Let's start creating one, right? Maybe you don't have reviews. Perfect. Let's start there. So it gives you kind of actionable steps to take. And then, of course, it tells you about how you can do it on your own. Because once again, like if you're our client or not, we want you to be successful. We want you to have the tools and knowledge to be the best agent out there. So it explains what you could do on your own, or if you want some guidance, if you want some help, or just experts doing it for you. We go through the different tools that we have to allow that. And then kind of like a 30, 60, 90-day action plan of how to execute it to get to that next level.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I've read the playbook. It's really, really good. And the strategic insight, the value of this is, most agents are overwhelmed. They don't want to manage tech. They might not understand AI search. And who knows, they get this guide. Maybe they're not going to be the one doing it, but it's important to understand how the mechanisms of this work, right? Because then if you are working with somebody or somebody's pitching you some sort of marketing services or, you can't get taken advantage of. You've been talking, to people, whoever you're working with. Hopefully it's Agent Elite because, we're a little bit biased, but, that sort of strategic insight is really, really important to help agents gain visibility. And that's going to build momentum, and they'll know about trust signals and perhaps why things are not looking how they should, as opposed to just being in this consistent, I don't understand how this is working. So yeah, like I think that, that's a really, really good solution. And I think for the most part, people may think, or some agents are like, oh, I know Agent Elite, like they do websites. That's, we hear that they do websites, but in the past 9 months, I mean, we've exploded doing a lot more than just websites. We're, kind of like a holistic pop-up marketing department for real estate agents and consultants. So the value of a coach, I want to hear from you. Like, I know personally in my life, like I used to confuse the menu for the meal. So I'd like get a lead magnet and I'd be like, oh, sweet, I know how to do all this, but then I never actually did it. Right. So what is the value of having a coach, a mentor, and somebody that can walk an agent through this? And this is kind of what we're doing, what you do, right?
Yeah. So to kind of hit on earlier what you were saying about the playbook too, before we get into it, is I always like to say knowledge is power, right? The more you know, the better educated you are, the better decisions you can make. So that's another thing, like I love to kind of like help my agents with, or in any agent, is just like knowing knowledge is power. In any way I can help people get that knowledge or give them that knowledge, like I feel happy. So I just wanted to say that as well before I answer now your next question.
Yes.
But yeah, as kind of like that mentor and guider for agents, it really, we're there to, once again, educate, help you understand. But the biggest thing is really like that accountability, because a lot of, agents, like sometimes they have like that own maybe self-doubt of like, it's too much. I don't want to get in front of camera. I feel awkward asking.
For sure.
And it's kind of being that person of like, reinforcing and letting them know like it's gonna be uncomfortable and it's okay. When you first started real estate, you probably felt uncomfortable trying to get your first listing, right? And like remembering or trying to help them remember like how great that felt once you got through that little obstacle of that first listing ever, or working with your first buyer. And so being able to kind of be that person to push people out of their comfort zones a little bit, and then see the excitement and like reward from them achieving that. For example, one of my agents, nervous to ask for reviews, just felt like, I feel like it's like pushy, and I'm like, 100% can see where you're coming from, right? If you don't do it, it can feel awkward. I was like, but just try it. Worst comes to worst, someone says no, or they don't answer and leave a review, and you are left where you started, and it didn't hurt you, and we'll move on to the next. Well, they tried it for a week, and they ended up getting 5 reviews. And after they were like, that was so exciting. thing that wasn't
Yep.
that bad. And I was
Yep.
like, see, you have to try. And
Yep.
the worst comes to worst if someone says no, or you're right where you started, which you started. But the best outcome could be you now generated reviews, and going forward, you have that confidence to now do what you have to do. So, really giving that strategy, being that accountability person, and helping agents get to that next level in the marketing, in the tech part, is really where we really help agents the most.
Yeah. Well, and one of the most brilliant things that I can pull out of what you just said is something called the spotlight effect, which is a
Mhm.
psychological thing that all of us humans do this, but we feel like people are thinking about us and what we're doing more than they really are. So we have
Mhm.
this like self-consciousness about us, like when you were talking about video or asking for reviews, like
Yeah.
before we even get started, we're like, oh, well, if I get on this video, I'm going to look dumb. If my hair looks stupid, then people are going to, comment, oh, look at this guy. He's what an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. And so it's like you shut yourself down before you even try it. But in reality, you post a video, some people see it. They're probably like, oh, cool. Other people see it, scroll. Like nobody's going to be like, oh, you're an idiot. What a terrible video, And anybody that does anything like that, like they're a miserable person anyways. Like if you're going to, take 30 seconds to leave a crappy comment on somebody's video when they're just, trying to add value. I don't know. It's, in the content game, I always tell agents, especially, I'm like, look, you want quality. I get that. But if you're just starting, focus on quantity, because if you
Mhm.
don't start or you expect perfection, you're never going to get going. Right.
Yeah.
Just like you said with your comfort zone. It's just like going to the gym. You build a muscle. It sucks at first, and then it kind of doesn't suck as much. And then it's kind of like, oh, well, I actually maybe kind of enjoy this. And then you're like,
Yeah.
I can't go another day without doing this. So,
Yeah.
right. So if agents can like look at asking for reviews, and I always tell them like do it in the process of your transaction. So during the you can say, hey, I'm glad everything's going great. Just a reminder, when we close and you're a raving fan of mine, I'm going to ask you to give me a good review. And just like you can be cheeky about it, what or not, but just to remind them. And then like when closing happens and you say, hey, congratulations, would you mind leaving me a quick review? I would really, like it's building it
Yeah.
into your actual sales process.
Yeah.
And that's something agents that have started doing this. They've reported that there's a lot less of that. Oh, it's pushy, or I don't want to just send a generic link. It's like having a
Mhm.
conversation about that, and it's not blowing your own horn. I mean, you're
No,
reinforcing their choice in you.
exactly.
Like if you came to me and you were like, "Hey, Max, I want to hire you as a marketer," and I was like, well, all right, but don't say anything nice about me if I do a good job. You're like, what is this guy talking about? Like, no, like we're on the same team. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even think too, like I go to like coffee shops, and I go to restaurants, and there's signs that have like, hey, leave us a Google review,
right.
or like
Or a survey
I'll
on the receipt. Do you mind filling that out when you're
exactly.
done? For sure.
Yeah, it is a lot more normal now for reviews, especially because people know that in order for other people to know who you are and the kind of service you give, the kind of worker you are, like having those reviews is a testimony to what other people saw in you, for other
Yeah,
people to then be able to say, oh wait, I want to work with Blake or Max, like
for
this
sure.
person sounds awesome.
Yeah.
um so
Yep.
I mean, even I'm guilty of it when I'm looking for a new restaurant. I'm like, let me look at the reviews. How
Oh,
is the food?
100%. A hun
Like,
I don't go anywhere, and like if I get somebody, even when somebody's like, dude, um, this is the best burger I've ever had. Go to this place. I still Google it and look. You
Yeah.
know, like even if
Yep.
this is a trusted friend, because I'm like, okay, and maybe it's not that I don't believe them, but I just want to check it out, you know, and like
Exactly.
millennials,
Yeah.
Gen Z, like we're all walking around with phones in our pockets. So,
Yeah.
and for agents, like the average consumer knows 12 real estate agents, right? My sister's an agent, my brother-in-law's an agent, my cousin is, my friend, like my neighbor, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of them, right? So the referral, and Shauna talks about this a lot, but the referral losing traction. You know,
Hmm.
like, yes, referrals are important, absolutely, but when you look at the way consumerism is going,
Yeah.
if you're not online and you're not ranking online, you're going to lose traction year after
Hmm.
year after year after year,
Yeah.
because it's, you know, we're bombarded with content. So this is all, yeah,
100%.
this is all great information. Where should agents literally go next? Like if I'm listening to this right now and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to check out Agent Elite. What's the first step? Is it to schedule a demo or get the Visible Agent Guide, or you know what other you know, there's the IDX websites that are now AI assist equipped. They track behavioral patterns and things like that when people are on listings. So what do you think is like step one? Here's what you have to do today if you want to get started.
Yeah, so obviously we have a systems, tools, and products in place that it's like a one-stop shop, I like to call it. But where I would start is go check out our website, go to agentelite.com, go to our Google business profile, check out our reviews, give us a call, just say hey, whatever you want. But yeah, go download the Visible Agent Playbook. Like I said, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more educated you are in AI, what is happening in 2026 and what's going to be the transformation, is going to allow you to level up. So download the playbook. You can just go to agentelite.com/visible,
Mm-hmm.
fill out the information. You'll get the PDF of that playbook right away. And if you do want to, schedule a demo, you can go on there, you can call us,
Yep.
but I would definitely start with the Visible Playbook. And just get ready for 2026 and all the fun things that are coming with it.
Love it, love it. Awesome. So, look, guys, like you heard it from Blake and I. This the smartest thing an agent can do right now. You know, it's not more ads or more tools or more tactics and the flashiest new stuff. It's understanding the system. It's understanding how visibility actually works, where you
Mm-hmm.
stand, and then putting together that structured way to see that clearly using, you know, the playbook, using an audit. Okay, because great agents, you guys out there, you're not going to lose deals on calls that you take. You're losing deals in the moments that you're never even considered. So
Yeah.
you got to get on the board in order to make deals and to, you know, get to the next level. And I know all these agents are out there thinking about 2026 and they're ramped up. So look, get on the phone, give us a call, go to agentelite.com/visible, grab the guide, just check out what we're all about. And hey, just like Blake said, pick up the phone. What's the downside for you? Zero. You get to talk with somebody that's going to help you essentially for free and point you in the right direction. And then if you want to
Mm-hmm.
continue that, awesome. If you don't, hey, you're going to get, you know, front loaded value anyways. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for being here today. And I'm sure we'll get the opportunity to do this again. On the next episode, we're going to dive deeper into visibility and AI and all of the cool things that we're doing at Agent Elite. But until then, get out there, get on your grind. Happy January 2026. And we will see you next week. Blake, thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
See ya.